Okay guys, the first thing I'd like you to do is go ahead, that's period 2? I can't actually tell if that's period 2, it got wiped off. Yep, period 2. Okay, I'd like us to put this in our journals. It's going to be Systems of Equations Elimination. Once you've got that down, go ahead and fold the notes. Make sure your name is at the top of your notes. Search your name, please. This is going to be going on page 17. Zoom in. If you don't have one, I highly recommend grabbing a calculator. The first thing we need to know is what is standard form. So standard form is just AX plus BY equals C. In any situation, the standard form is always going to be alphabetical order with the variables, so X, then Y, and it's going to be equal to whatever your number is. So we've already set up most of these questions to be like that for you. What does elimination mean? In real life, what does it mean to eliminate something?
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. So in the elimination method, we're going to get rid of something. We're going to get rid of at least one variable at a time. So what happens if I just add these equations together? What is 3x take away 3x? See how those cross out? We've eliminated x. How many y's would we have? Negative 5y, negative 5y. Negative 10y. What is 16 plus 4? Okay, how do I figure out what y is? Divide by what kind of 10? Thank you. What does that make? Now that I know what y is, how do I figure out x? Plug it in. We're literally, do you guys like the top or the bottom? I don't really care. Which one do you like? Which equation, top or bottom? Top it is. Maurice, negative 5 times negative 2? Corian, how do I get that x by itself? What do I got to do?
Subtract 3.
Nope. Your subtract is good, but what are we going to subtract? We're taking away the 10. We want to leave the 3x alone for now. Daniel, what's 16 take away 10? Evelyn, what's my last step? Sorry, not Evelyn, Cassandra. Anybody, what does that make? So remember the answer is always going to be a point, so it's 2, negative 2. It's where the two lines cross. Okay. So let's just walk through what these steps mean with our example. I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit so you can see them all at the same time. Okay, so first we made sure in order for us to do this, they have to be in the same format. So the x's have to be lined up, the y's have to be lined up, the equal signs have to be lined up, and the constants, which is just your number, have to be lined up. Next step is we pick what we're going to get rid of. We have to get rid of it with addition. We can multiply or divide entire equations if we need to, but right here they just crossed out, which was nice. This is right here, this example 1. This is an algebra 1 level. Algebra 1, you learn this, and you learn just to add and subtract the equations. We're going to bring it up all the way to 3 letters today. I'm going to show you slowly, step by step. So we picked X because they automatically cross out. So we eliminated it by adding the equations together. See how we added those equations together? Solved for Y, plugged it back in to get the X, and we can check with the calculator. Do you guys remember how we check with a calculator? Menu what? Menu what? Okay, so if you turn on your calculator.
3.
Uh-huh.
Oh, me, 2.
Uh-huh. So it's always going to be algebra because we're working in algebra, right? The class we're in is algebra. And then what are we trying to do? We're trying to solve systems of equations. So we just say enter, enter, and then you just type in the equations. The biggest mistake I see is people forget to put the X's and the Y's. So let's just pretend that I forgot the Y right here. If I type enter, it gave me an answer, but that's not the right answer. If I arrow up, so that's highlighted, I can just say enter. It'll copy the whole equation for me. I can go back in and put in the Y I forgot, and now I have the right answer. You guys with me? Okay, so menu 3, 2, we want to write that down. When I'm grading your notes today, I'm going to be looking that you have the standard form written down, and I'm going to be making sure you have this as well as all of the steps. If you don't have this and you don't have this, I will not be giving you full credit.
Wait, so we have to have that?
You have to have everything that I write down on the notes must be on your paper. If it's not there, I'll mark it as incomplete. Sorry. That's better. Okay. Let's go through the next one. This is an Algebra 2. This is a beginning Algebra 2 level. Do you guys want to cross out the X's or the Y's? Okay, it doesn't matter which one, but if you pick Y, we need these to be opposites. So we need a positive 9 and we need a negative 9, right? So if I need that to become 9, I'm going to take this whole equation and I'm going to take 9 and multiply it through. Diego, 9 times negative 6x. Mm-hmm. This is not my new sitting chart. Okay. Nick, 9 times negative y?
Negative what?
9, negative what?
Negative what?
Yes, sir. Mauricio? Sorry, it's not Mauricio, it's Maurice. 9 times 4?
Oh.
Do you remember the finger trick? If I look at my fingers, put down the fourth one. 30 and 36. And then I'm just going to write this whole equation underneath it. So this one I just wrote down underneath it. If I'm multiplying an equation, I want to see the parentheses on the equation, and I want to see that you're taking that 9 all the way through to each thing. So I want to see it go to each thing. Then I'm going to put the two equations together. Alejandro, negative 54x plus 1x. It's a 1 if they don't tell you it's a 1. Negative 54x, positive 1x, put them together, how much does that make? Positive or negative? Trey? Negative 9y, positive 9y.
Nothing.
Nothing. Acorian, 36 and 17. Adam. They're both positive. Francisco, what do we do next? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide.
What do we need to divide?
By what?
52.
Almost.
Oh, negative 53.
Anybody, what is positive 53 divided by negative 53? Now that we have x, how do we find y? Do you see why at the beginning of the first 6 weeks I made you do all those equations where you plugged in x's and y's to get numbers out? Do you guys like the top or the bottom equation? Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom, okay. What's, over to Cassandra. Cassandra, what is negative 6 times negative 1? Is it Obed? Obed, what do we do next? Minus 6. Give me about 2 minutes, Gabby, and I can help. I'll give you something to do. So 6 take away 6. We're back over to Daniel. 6 take away 6. Diego. 4 take away 6 is? 4 take away 6. Nick, what's my next step? You go. I would just flip them. Good job. Okay, you guys got it? Go ahead and open to the inside. There we go. Okay, guys. So here, do you see how none of these line up perfectly? Like they're lined up, but nothing crosses out nicely. Do you guys want to cross out x's or do you want to cross out y's? Okay, if we want to get rid of the x's, do I want to divide the top by 2 or multiply the bottom by 2? Multiply? Okay. So we're going to take parentheses on the whole thing. Multiply by 2. Maurice, what is 2 times 8x? 16. Thank you. Alejandro, 2 times negative 2y. 4 is part of the answer. What's the rest of the answer? What sign is it? Thank you. Trey, 2 times negative 6. Negative what?
Negative 4.
Yeah. Aquarian, what do I need to do next? So we multiplied this by 2 so that we could double it and cross stuff out, okay? So what do I need to bring down? The whole equation, right? I would definitely draw an arrow so you know where that came from. I always draw a line when I'm putting two things together. Okay, everybody, whole class. 16x, take away 16x. What does that make? Negative 4y, positive 4y. What does that make? 12 take away 12. What does that make? So we've got 0 equals 0. Does that mean no solution or does that mean infinitely many solutions? It means infinitely many. Infinitely many solutions. So far, so good. Okay, now this one, I already did it. I'm going to cover it up and walk you through the step-by-step process because I wanted you to understand it and I wanted your focus to be on why we did it, not having to do it. So these were really ugly and they didn't match. Like there was no way to easily double this and get this or cut this in half, or you'd have to multiply both equations, which is a real pain. So what I did is I did 7 times 7 is 49, 7 times 5 is 35, and 7 times 3 is 21. Then what I said is if I just take a 7 out of each group, that's the same as dividing by 7. So I have 7x minus 5y equals negative 3. Then I wrote this top equation down underneath it so that I could see them together, because I have to see them together to see what can be canceled, what can be reduced. You guys following me or am I going too fast? Maurice, you know what I'm doing? Do you know what I'm doing or am I going too fast? So all I did is I took this equation and I took it in factors, right? 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 3 is 21. Then I just took a 7 out of everything to make it smaller so that I could work with it. Now what do I want to multiply this top equation by so stuff cancels out? How do I get... Where did I get a 6 from, sweetie? That's a 5. What do I want to multiply the top equation by, you guys?
10.
Yeah, see if I just multiply that by 10, I would have 70x, negative 50y, and negative 30. And then if I add those together, what's 70 take away 70? What's 50 take away 50? So I've got 0 equals, what's, negative 30 and positive 27, what does that make? Is that true?
No.
That's not true, which means?
No solution.
Now I wrote that out for you guys already so that you wouldn't have to do that. I just wanted you to see it. On today's assignment, there's going to be 7 questions. You have to do 3 where you show work and the rest you can just throw in the calculator. Okay? So 3 where you show work, the rest calculator. Now, Texas has a list of things I have to teach you and I must make you do. This is one of the things that we must do. On your assignment, I'm going to highly recommend if there are 3 equations and 3 variables, use your calculator. Here, I'm going to show you step by step how to solve it. You're going to divide this space in half. Thank you, ma'am. Can you, this test right there, can you hole punch them for me? Okay, the first thing we're going to do is which variable is going to be the easiest to cross out?
The 5.
The 5a, right? So do you see how if I put this 5a, he could cancel out both of those? So what we're going to do is we're going to write this top equation on both sides because we're going to use it twice. And then we're going to put the second and the third equation. So because we have 3 variables, we need to eliminate 1 variable and get 2 sets of equations. And then we're going to use those 2 equations to eliminate another variable to get it down to 1. So it's going to be a whole process. So let's just do a little bit at a time. What is 5a take away 5a? Negative 6b negative 5b. Add them together. Negative 5c, negative c.
Negative 4.
Add them.
Negative
6c. If they're multiplied, that's when you get the squared. Then we got 28 taking away 18. It is 10. See how we got rid of one variable? Now that we have two variables, we need two equations with two variables. So we're going to do this side as well. 5a take away 5a. 17 take away 6. Negative 5, positive 3. Different signs subtracts. Negative 18, negative 8, same signs add. I now have two equations in two variables and they're the same variables. Now we do the same thing we've always done. I'm going to just move this guy right here. I'm going to line them up. What do we do now, you guys? Yeah, those just cancel out. What does this make? What does this make?
Negative 16.
How do I figure out what C is? Divide by what?
Negative 8.
What is that going to make?
8.
2, right? Now that we have C, how do we find B? We're going to plug it in, but we have to plug it into one of the equations that only has one other letter, right? I can't plug it. If I plug it into one of these originals, I'm going to be stuck with an A and a B. So we need to plug it in to one of the equations we've already canceled stuff out. So we're going to be either using the left or the right. Do you guys like the left equation or the right equation? The left?
Yeah.
Okay. So negative 16, sorry, that's negative 11. My bad. Negative 11b minus 6 times 2 equals 10. What is 6 times 2? What do we do next, you guys? Plus 12, right? That's a 10. That's an 11b. That's supposed to be a b. Diego, what do I do next? By? What's that make? Alejandro, now that I have B and I have C, how do I figure out A? Somebody said it. Plug it in. Alejandro, pick the equation. Which equation on the top do we like the best? Top, middle, or bottom? Which one's the smallest and easiest? You like the bottom the best? I would have picked middle because it's smaller numbers. Now all I'm going to do is everywhere there's a C, we're going to replace it with C. Everywhere there's a B, we're going to plug in that number. So I've got 5A minus 5. Instead of B, what am I going to plug in? Good. Instead of C, what am I going to plug in? What's negative 5 times negative 2? Corian, tell me my next step. What can go together? What's it make?
8.
Maurice, tell me my next step. -8 from both sides. Good job. Daniel, 28 take away 8, please. Anybody? What's my last step? So I've got A equals 4. Please grab your calculator. I want to make sure you know how to do this on your calculator. There's a couple of things that most people have a little bit of trouble with the first time. Would you run these up to the office, and then when you get back, I'll show you the next thing. Okay, guys. On your calculator, go ahead and grab it. Like that? The calculator or no? That part?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So on the calculator, let me turn down my brightness so you can see. You're going to go to menu 3-2 just like always, but you're going to change the number of variables or the number of equations. We're going to go to 3. Okay? Then we're going to press the tab button. If you try to press the down arrow, sometimes it'll work and sometimes it changes the number. Do you see what I mean? It's changing the number of equations there. So I'm going to press tab to get to that one. Now what are our letters in this equation? So I'm going to say A, but you have to have a comma, then B, then comma, then C. That's the trick right there, is to switch the letters to be whatever you have. Then you're just going to say enter, and you're going to type in the equations, okay? So I've got that in. Notice it's saying A, B, C right there. If those are not the same letters, it's going to say variable is not defined or invalid argument. And it gave me 4. So A is 4, B is -2, and C is 2, which is exactly what we got. A is 4, B is -2, and C is 2. You guys got it? That's it.
Were you supposed to be time?